So I mean, continuing the same kind of a line of thought that I started yesterday in one of the later videos during the night. It might sound far-fetched, but it seems that there is like a process that takes place during these days of idiotization of the Israeli intelligence. Like, of course, they were always stupid, but something is going on. Like, I mean, the last couple of, like, today and yesterday and maybe the day before, there's something happening. I mean, I don't know if it's the bacteria or the radiation or if it's specific effect that is done by the chirurg, like, like in the brain level of the people, or it's like a byproduct of kind of like another major physiological process like dehydration or something like that. But you can see it both like in how they act like in the street and in the apartment, and as I've already mentioned, by the level of propaganda. In the past we've had we experienced sharp decrease in the level of like Israeli propaganda. It's always a piece of shit, but mostly when it when you experience like sharp decrease of the level of propaganda, it means mostly, at least in the past, it meant that that the role of that the people actually prepare propaganda, they are mostly either experienced titans, females, or experienced female Homo sapiens females that they are mostly also like hybrids. Both kinds that they do propaganda, and they do it and they do it like 15 years old children that is like that is very very advanced age, like in comparison to what you can find in the Israeli intelligence. It's like it's like way above like the median like mental age. So that's why the level is they do it so well, like of course relative to what you can expect from the rest, that are at most like the best case that they're like 12 years old. And so and there are also cases when the females like have all sorts of issues, like that they were kind of left out, not necessarily died, but left out of the picture. So, and the ones that replaced them, they were either males, either sometimes the zombies, and then sometimes all sort of like of their Asar, like in the Shabak, just people that have nothing to do, besides the fact that they are pedophiles, so this is their ticket to the Shabak. And sometimes they give it like to junior titans, like females. So and then you see this decrease. But what you see now is a different type of decrease, because it's when there is such a decrease, and I spend time thinking about it, because you need to understand that form ways of expression is something incredibly important in order to understand things, processes that takes place inside this organization, because you don't have like any you are outside of it, you don't have any kind of the only thing that you have in front of your eyes is like the actual product of propaganda. And so you can judge by the form or by the content, and the form is very difficult to fake, as opposed to content, which is always fake. Form is more difficult because they don't understand what is form. Again, they are 15 at best. They are 15 years old, from the mental age. So usually when you see such a decrease, the messages become much more much more disgusting, in a sexual way. Like they will push very hard, the pedophile, they will let the pedophile tendencies be manifested in the most disgusting way, and the sexual overtones will be very extremely explicit, and it's not what you see now. Actually, what you see now is actually somewhat reduction of the sexual overtones, and certainly the reduction of pedophilia overtones. But what you can see is just, idiotization of the messages. Like what we would expect like 10 years old to do. You wouldn't expect 10 years old or 9 years old, to play with overt, sexual, overtones in the kind of like propaganda, if in case they create propaganda. This is absurd. But you would, expect them to, almost by definition, to produce very childish artifacts, and that's what you see now, like extremely childish artifacts that are not specifically, hyped in sexuality as before, which this suggests several stuff. Should be said that the pedophilic and the most disgusting sexual overtones are not necessarily produced by by the actual pedophiles in the organization, like the males, because they are actually, the many times they take medicine and they don't think about it too much, and they're afraid to, even though they're always those that have no limits at all, and it depends on how they actually conceptualize themselves as part of intelligence organization, and how they conceptualize their condition, which is something they spoke about in the past. In general, the best kind of or the least worst kind of people in the intelligence organizations, not only in Israel but also abroad, are those that do not submit to the theory, to the medicalization theory, that argue that this is kind of a medical problem that is solved by medicine, but they accept they accept that they have a problem that and they should beside the medicine, they need to commit not to do it. This is kind of this is a problem, not just a medical problem, but a problem in their in their psychology, and that they need. Besides, that, and this is incredibly important, because it should be said that these people, it's a whole new. It's a huge subject I spoke about in the past, but. And the worst people are those those that think that everybody are like them, and that what's special about those that are in part of intelligence organization is that they were caught. And this is obviously wrong, but it's also a cruel, belief. It's not just wrong, it's disgusting, because it kind of relinquish any responsibility from them. It makes them think that everybody is the same, which is, ethically so disgusting. Should be said that, as disgusting as it might sound, actually the Titan females are the ones that are more prone to the most disgusting sexual overtones. Even though many of them are nuns, they don't have sex at all. But the situation varies. And this was discussed in what I call the robot saga. But the psychology is sometimes the most, certainly in Israel, it's not always like that, and it's not like that in Venus, but in Israel they are the worst piece of shit, and that's the situation. They are the most disgusting, minds you can find in, are the Titans in Israel. But yeah, that's the country, that's the place. That's the place. So, one can argue that what we actually see now is that they actually let the males, not even the Juno Titans or the Juno Homo sapiens females, but actually males are actually producing the messages, possibly even of their Asar or something like that, which might hint us that the Shabak and the Mossad are in great kind of depression right now. Again, it's not doesn't mean that they all died or so. Many times things like that happen, and then they come back. Because they have diseases and all sorts of things. It's not and maybe they all went to חופשה בלוטרקיה ביוון, organized vacation it's probably not going to happen in the middle of a war, but just to say that I also mundane reasons of such kind of occurrences, organized a vacation in something. I don't know, a seminar of how to produce disgusting propaganda. I don't know, in the the Goebbels University or something like that. They have these things. So, but what you see now is different, because you actually they are like children. And this also manifested in the street actually. Like when you watch them in the street, it's like they're children. And even and now in the apartment as well. Something's going on. Like I mean, I'm not a paranoid. Like I mean, I smell this stuff. I mean, you know that that's my life. Like I live like by the sense of smell, and I smell quite a bit. Like I mean, I smell even like in an interplanetary scale, famously. So something is going on, and maybe bacteria, maybe I don't know, like a byproduct of another process. But the Israeli intelligence become much more stupid. Like I mean, like in the process that takes place right now. And I don't know what's the implications, but I mean, certainly it's not like I mean, it does not predict special success in the war that we are in Israel. We are in the middle of a war. It's probably not like a good like I mean a sign for the war. And listen, I mean, rationally speaking, there was always I'm kind of, you know, I see myself like as a prophet of the war because I've spoken so much about things that happened that are extremely remarkable and they were mentioned in my, you know, my blog like months ago, and you know that. So I would say that, I mean, unlike actually some of the prophecies with regards to, I mean, the situation that are similar to what we see in the war, reality might be actually worse than the prophecies. Because rationally, I mean, rational evaluation of what's going on suggests that there is like a huge chance of this war ending with like historical, like I mean, you know, catastrophe, like maybe I don't know, atomic, like you know, explosion or. And no, weapons of mass destruction are not only atomic weapons. I mean, they can, and there are also scenarios of usage of like irresponsible usage of. I mean, it's always irresponsible usage of weapons of mass destruction that are not like atomic weapons. And Israel, they have all sorts of stuff. Just saying, I mean, something smells like, I mean, doesn't smell well. Like I mean, yeah, and I'm not paranoid. Like I mean, but. And it was not part of like, you know, the like my narrative of like I mean of things that happened like during the 1980s. Like actually the opposite. Like in my description of the 1980s events, I mean I always say that I mean nothing like I mean after these events there were always more events and more events, additional events, like it was like a series of never-ending events that I mean הארץ לא שקטה מעולם, לא תשקוט הארץ לא שנה, לא 20 שנה ולא 5 שנים. But now there is something else I mean going on. Like I feel that I mean soon actually תשקוט הארץ. I mean soon there will be actually silence in the land. I mean for quite a bit of time. That's the kind of, you know, that's what my sense of smell tells me right now, that the war will end very, I mean probably not I mean long, I mean from now, like pretty soon, and it will be followed by like actually like I mean a relatively long like I mean duration of peace, which must probably will be predicated on the fact that I mean the warring side will take a very long vacation from the theater of the war, like perhaps even tremendously long vacation. Anyway, do whatever you want with this kind of like, you know, analysis. And maybe later today we'll speak about some other stuff. I mean, there are also stuff we can think about, and of course I'm open to suggestions. Because of the war situation, I mean, there is like, I mean, you know, always kind of like, I mean, the tendency to speak about like very pressing issues, but I mean, sometimes it's difficult to understand what are actually the pressing issues.